From now, let me explain information about the joint call and how to submit your proposals and some cautions for both Japan and Singapore side researchers. You can get the information on the joint call from the website JST Nexus for the Japan side and ASTER's funding opportunities page for the Singapore side. So please check it. This is an abstract of the joint application. Both PIs will prepare one joint application form and then submit identical copies of the proposal to JST from the Japan side PI and ASTER from the Singapore side PI, respectively. For the Japan side, PIs are also required to submit Japanese appendix via e-RAD system. For the Singapore side, PIs are also required to submit budget milestones and KPIs via iGrant system. This is a summary of the joint call. The duration is up to 3 years, that is 6 months, and the number of granted projects is up to 10. The funding per project is almost equivalent to that Japan and Singapore. For Japan, we will fund up to 30 million yen for direct expenses and additional indirect expenses. Here, this is a Japan-specific notice. Around 30% of the total direct expenses should be allocated to exchange activities like dispatching students to partner universities, holding international workshops, and providing opportunities for presenting at international conferences, and so on. For the Singapore side, it's up to 350,000 Singapore dollars, including indirect expenses. So as I mentioned before, we use e-RAD and iGrant submission system. This is a schedule summary. The most important date is Monday, September 30 at 1 p.m. in Japan, noon in Singapore as the deadline for the application. We plan to announce the selection result at the end of January next year. The granted projects will be started on the next April. The research field is AI, cutting-edge AI technologies aimed at societal transformation. The subtopics are AI for smart cities, sustainability, trust and safety, and linguistic diversity. Note that we recommend your proposal follow the subtopics, but the themes are not limited to the subtopics. So the research team is open to exploring other subtopics related to the research field of AI, cutting-edge AI technologies aimed at societal transformation. The next important points, eligibility and cautions. As I mentioned before, both PIs are required to prepare one proposal together and then submit identical copies of the proposal to JST from the Japan side PI and ASTER from the Singapore side PI. So there are Japan and Singapore specific eligibilities. At first, for the Japan side, application must be affiliated with a research institution in Japan. There are no restrictions on nationality. The institution must satisfy requirements predetermined by NEXT. That is the same as other funding applications. The applicants must have completed a research ethics training program in advance. Japanese form appendix includes confirmation form, the 確認書. It must be stamped by the head of your institution. So next, for the Singapore side, PI's primary appointment is 75% or more in a local publicly funded research institution. Applications must be endorsed by the applicant's host institution. It is the same condition as Japan side. And applicants must deliver their project in accordance to the ASTER grants term and conditions and guidelines. Okay, next. So these are the criteria for evaluation proposal. Capability of PIs, expected scientific results, expected economic and social impact, synergy effect of international collaboration, and consistency with the research field of this grant call and feasibility of implementation. For more detailed description, please check the guidelines. This is an example of the team structure for the Japan side. Collaborative PIs and the collaborators are not requirement, but if you want to allocate different institutions from PI's institution, you must set co-PI as a leader of the institution. Note that please register PI and co-PI on eRado, but do not register members of each group. About the collaborators, it means external collaborators like a company or consortium who have their own budgets. Also, please do not register them collaborators to eRado because we won't fund them. So next, this is a Singapore side example, very similar to Japan side. The collaborative investigator, co-I, and collaborators are not requirements for this application. But you can set them on your proposal. The co-I leads manages a particular aspect of the research proposal. The collaborator is also similar to Japan side, but we encourage the inclusion of collaborators from other ASEAN member states as collaborator. Note that we cannot fund the collaborator, so they should seek their own funding or provide in-kind contribution. For more details, please download and check application guidelines from each website. For the Japan side, eRado manual also has important information when you submit it via eRado. Please contact us about the joint call if you have any questions. That's all. We are looking forward to seeing your proposal. Thank you very much.